final thing we will be working on is
No. Pretty Caroline, stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the dine. Serves you some reminder to count your blessings, 'cause it's telling fair. Put you down and leave you there, don't make them scared.
Good morning. Welcome back to another vlog. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. My name's Lauren and I'm a 400 hurdler and I'm based in Australia, Brisbane actually. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And here is a look at my Instagram. Check that out because I do update more regularly over there about my life as an athlete. So today's vlog, as you can guess from the title, is this is my last race before Nationals. So a bit of a backstory behind this competition. It was meant to be on the 24th of February, which was the day that we had a board meeting, so I couldn't attend it. So it was meant to be the last race before state champs. But then we had like an electrical storm that evening, so they called the competition off because obviously track and field does involve a fair bit of metal. Like spikes have metal tags in them to help you grip. Javelins, for instance, are made of metal, so are hurdles. So whenever there's sort of a lightning electrical stuff around, it's always just safer to call it off. And so obviously then we had states, which was a condensed program because of more storming and flooding. And there's been, I think, Little Athletics also had to move their championship because of storms. So this is basically the last date that works for them to have this rescheduled meet before the end of the season. So it is on a Friday night, which is a little bit awkward because I usually do have Fridays off training and I have been working from home on the Friday, and I think it's just great. It just gives me a little bit of extra break. But you know, yesterday I worked from home sort of just to switch things around because I didn't really need to be in the office for what I was doing yesterday, so I just did it from home and I just did a warm-up, some stride throughs, and I also did some hurdle drills just because, hey, what the heck. So this morning I got up, I did some stretching and some foam rolling as you saw, and then I just pretty much got dressed and came down here. It's also kind of a bit of a good thing that we're racing on Friday because at Nationals the revised timetable has come out and the 400 hurdles now move straight from heats to semi-finals, and the semi-finals are on a Friday afternoon. So it's a bit of practice for that. So what that means is because I'll be at work all day, I haven't like necessarily got like my usual menu that I would if I was racing on like a Saturday or a Sunday. So I had been thinking at Nationals, because obviously I'll just be staying in a hotel. It's kind of like a semi self-contained unit, but it does have pretty limited cooking facilities. I had been thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to buy something for lunch rather than try and make something. So I'd been thinking about just getting a burrito bowl because I can split that in half and keep it in the fridge, and if I only eat half I can have the other half later on. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I sort of get to test out my menu plan for Nationals, which is good, and also I get to race on a Friday evening, which I don't usually do. So obviously first up today I have my work day. I have to get through that. It's just going to be a standard Friday, just getting everything prepped for the reports that I do Monday, Tuesday next week. We are needing to send back our tablets. We've been needing to do that for like 2 months now. I've just been really lazy. So hopefully I'll get that off today. And then just, yeah, whatever else comes up. I think I don't know if I've mentioned this. I think I have mentioned it, but we've pretty much locked in a place where we're going to be moving to in a few weeks for our new office. So we're also starting to prep that. Like for instance, on Wednesday, I counted office chairs that are in good enough condition to come with us and ones that we will need to get rid of, because we have so many office chairs around here. And then we measured some desks because there are desks at the new location and they're pretty similar in colour and everything to our current ones, but we will be a few short. So we had to measure desks and we can take some over, and it's just little things like that. We got all new monitors sent up to us in the middle of COVID, and we haven't necessarily like transferred them all over to the staff. Like staff have sort of been adopting their use as their other ones started to play up, or they just wanted a new one. So that's the plan for today. We're going to go around and all the broken ones, we're going to label them as broken so we can get an IT like destruction company to come and take them, and everyone who wants or needs a new monitor gets one. And then that way, if we need to buy more, we can request them and they can be delivered ready for the new office. Right now I do need to go and answer some emails and get my day started. Happy Friday afternoon. I have arrived at Cusack without any issues. I did stop along the way at a Woolworths I went past and I got a Gatorade and, or is that a Powerade? Nope, it's Gatorade. And a Monster, my traditional one. Funny story, I actually went to buy my Monster from the hospital over the road from where I work, and they had one in the vending machine, but the vending machine was just not working. It was broken, like it actually said out of order. And so then I went to the cafeteria and they were completely out. And then I went to, there's like a little news agency that sells drinks, and they didn't have the Monsters at all that I could see. So that's why I had to stop along the way, which I didn't necessarily want to, but it really only added an extra 10 minutes to my trip by the time I got in and out. So that's all right. So pretty average day at work. We're definitely getting closer to the office move. We've got a big all staff meeting. Well, not all staff, just a state staff meeting on Monday just to work out the logistics, who's going to do what, when timings are going to happen. I did book the skip because we're obviously going to throw out a lot of stuff when I go take it to the new office. And other than that, I just answered some emails and did a bit of this, a bit of that. So yeah, pretty productive Friday. I think I'm in a pretty good position for Monday, which is good because I have like leave coming up, so you definitely want to stay on top of things. So got over here. I didn't say this earlier this morning, but I have had like a horrible sore throat and headache all day. And technically, I probably shouldn't be competing under the COVID guidelines. I did try and look up the rules because they were pretty firm for a while there that if you had a headache, sore throat, all these things, you were not to attend. But it didn't seem to be listed on the rules. But honestly, I've been taking like that Panadol all day. That's for head colds, and I feel pretty good now. There was around about 1 o'clock I was a bit like, oh, I need to go home and go to bed. But I did a couple of things at work, and then by 2, it was 2:30 suddenly. I was like, well, I feel fine, so I'm going to go over and race. So the plan now is just to chill out in the car for a little bit. I do need to get changed. I didn't get changed at the office because the high performance guys came by and they were loading and unloading stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to get out of here. So I'm going to chill in the car, get changed, and then head on in. I have plenty of time, so it's really good. Like, I do not want to be stressed. I just want to be focused on running well. So it is a few days after the race now, and unfortunately there was no race footage. I actually thought the gentleman, Vic Pascoe is his name, who videos all the races at Interclub meets, was there videoing. I could have sworn I saw him, but it turns out he wasn't, or he had to leave before my race. But anyway, my race did not go very well at all. In fact, it was kind of one of my slowest times of the season, which was really, really disappointing. So the following day I sort of sat down and I really analysed the situation. And I think first up, I'd actually been sicker than I realised, because Russ was away for the weekend with my training partner Lockie. I can't remember if I mentioned that. Lockie was at relay camp in Melbourne, and so Russ was away, and I basically just slept all day Saturday. Like, I didn't have an incredibly late night after the race. Like, I got home and I was in bed by my usual time, but honestly, I just slept all day Saturday, had no energy. So I do think I was sicker than I actually thought I was. So probably racing wasn't the best idea. But all up, you know, when you just look at the situation, I'm just not running well. Something's happened, or I don't know, like the season started really well, but it's just not all falling into place. And so because of that, Russ and I really did take a good look at the situation, and we have decided that this is it for my season. One of my big goals for the year was actually to make the national 400 hurdles final. And yeah, it's not going to happen if I keep running the way I am. And there's no other races, and it's just not going to happen realistically. So rather than go down to nationals and fill a lane and run badly again, what we've decided to do is just to train through nationals. And there's actually another event later in the year in June. It's called the Oceania Championships. And being that I'm 30 now, I can get direct entry into the challenge section of it. So I would get to run like the 400 and the 4 hurdles up there. So we've decided to sort of make that my nationals. We're really going to target some times and do that. And then the other thing that Russ and I really sat down and talked about was like my training and where it could be better. And what we've decided to do is, like, everything's working, it's just not clicking. So what we just need to do is to be a lot more exact. So because I want to run a certain time, I have to be running certain times in my training reps. And, you know, like putting the race together, practice putting the race together more than we currently are. And then one of the other big things I really want to work on is like training more with other athletes. My squad is made up of a lot of different athletes of different, you know, events, and we can all work together a little bit more. We tend to be a little bit independent, and I think that that's going against me because I'm used to running well by myself, but running fast, the skill in a race, you have to run fast under pressure. So with that in mind, there's a gentleman by the name of Will who trains with us during the university season. He lives, I think I've mentioned him before, he lives up in far north Queensland and he comes down to go to uni. So I'm going to do more reps with him. But when we really get to hurdling again and hurdling fast again, we're going to look some of the other 400 hurdlers and do reps with them so that I can work on my stride pattern and running fast with other people in the race, because I really feel like that's really where I'm letting myself down. And then the other thing we're really going to do is I'm going to start having a training journal. I do have one now, but it's going to be a lot more detailed than what it is. Like, I'm going to put my reps in, I'm going to put in how I feel that day, what's happening at work, all this sort of stuff, so that if we have a really good session, a really good week, you know, like we can see what went well and try and replicate that again. And if something goes wrong, we can look at it and go, okay, it was probably the fact that you didn't get a lot of sleep that night and then the following day you didn't eat well. So the final thing we will be working on is also, we're going to look at more like a periodical program, in that where we train for a number of weeks and do very similar sessions. And then at the end of that period, we do some sort of time trials, so we really see where we're at. So if I'm aiming to run a certain time in the hurdles, I need to be running X, Y, and Z by the end of this so we know we're on track. Just all up, I think you could summarize it by saying we're just going to be a lot more exacting so that if problems start to come up, we can pinpoint them and we see them and we deal with them then and there. So thank you very much for watching another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my Instagram to see how training is going and what I'm up to. And I will see you all in my very next video.